My name is Tim Gibbon. I live in South Philadelphia, and I'm a member of La Palma.
Chris Walker. I live in San Francisco, the second half of Palma. I think you see a lot of our kids showing up in the songs and not just like in the subjects, but just like samples of them talking and interacting with us and stuff like that. Because I think the parental father figure element is really strong. Like the new single, the part of art that was for it is us holding kids and stuff like that. And I think this correspondence style of making music allows us to make music, and have it not get in the way of being a parent.
And for that reason, our kids are all over the music. Like Ohio, the song we just put out, there's a part in the middle where Chris's daughter, Daisy, walks right into the take and is like, "Is that a new song that you're writing, Dad? What's that song?" And if you listen close enough, you can hear it. And we didn't edit that out. We wanted that to be in there because that's what we're experiencing every day. And a lot of our music is has just sounds of everyday life woven into it. Like in the new single, um, it starts out with a recording from Chris's cell phone of like in San Francisco, you're walking around in the fog. What was the recording?
Oh yeah, I was like, we doing the when everything was like starting to shut down, and you could see the dominoes were falling, and I had been just sort of sitting in my apartment listening to the news nonstop and constantly refreshing it. And I was like, I need to go for a walk. This is ridiculous. And I went, and it was just one of those San Francisco super foggy, and you couldn't like see too far ahead of you. And then I could hear in the distance this horn. It was like a foghorn that I'd never heard before, but it really sounded like the bells of the apocalypse. That was on its way. Like they're letting you know, get inside. Everything is about to go completely to shit. So I was like, okay, let me just take out my phone and record this, and we'll see if we can weave that into it. It's like it's pretty awesome. I feel like this project is an embrace of technology too. Just like the ability to use your computer to do whatever, to use your phone, anything like, you know. Oftentimes I'm like looking at my phone and being like, this thing is like shackled to me, and it's
Right.
okay, but it actually allows me to. There's a song that Tim and I are working on now where I sampled uh, my my wife's grandmother. She was like washing rice, and it was incredibly rhythmic, and you could just like sample 5 seconds of that, and loop it through a whole song, and it's like it just has like a perfect rhythm to it. And I would say I would like definitely got. Uh, I looked to Tim for that. He kind of introduced me to doing that, to like have your phone out, sample stuff. You can like you can begin to build with anything really.
I remember Chris said the world is your instrument, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is one instrument, but like the sounds that are everywhere. In that same song, Ohio, at the end, there's a recording of what it sounds like in my backyard in South Philly, like the first day of quarantine when all the schools closed. My daughter's kind of playing in the background, and the birds are chirping. And like to the birds, it's totally normal, but to the people, we're like, oh shit. And in the middle of that song, there's another thing. It's just a YouTube clip of like that video that was going around of Italians singing the Italian national anthem from their balconies. It was just like that was the moment. That was the spirit that I wanted to capture. So we just wove it into the song. It's a funny time in music um, because you can really do it yourself in a way that you couldn't, just even a couple decades ago. We do all the recording, all the production, all the like mastering of the music ourselves. We use social media to promote it. When we have something come out, we email all the like every publication that we can find, every zine, every blog. And sometimes it gets picked up. But the local blogs and zines and like music hubs are super important to supporting up and coming musicians. I'm really grateful for Philly has a really strong music community and everyone's supporting each other. So definitely starting like local with other bands in Philly and in San Francisco and working through those contact connections and kind of like goes from there. But we're not really trying to get on a label or get like a publicist or anything. You're really in a time when you can do it yourself, you know?
First you get the songs, then you get the money to record the song, so you get a demo. And you take the demo and you use that to get your shows. And then before you know it, you got Matador knocking on your door, and then you get the minivan, and you hit the road. Like that used to be the template by how we used to, like, bands would, like, you know, try to roadmap their future. That's all gone here. They're like, there is no map now. It's kind of awesome.
I think it's kind of cool though. It's really democratizing. I was like scrolling through Instagram and I was watching like Club Quarantine, D Nice's thing, and there's like however many 100,000 people there. Michelle Obama is commenting, Oprah's commenting, and then I scroll to the next person and it's like a local Philly band and there's 3 people in the room, but it's the same exact platform. You know, it's like if you can work the social network, you don't need any kind of special resources or infrastructure. You just need a phone and an internet connection. Unlike going to a club where like the lighting and there's something about the geometry of the stage and it really like heightens the experience. Um, it's a very like vulnerable space and a very intimate space because it's just like you and the phone and there's no microphone and there's no sound system. Um, so as a band, you don't have that much control over the aesthetic experience.
Yeah, I personally never click on a live stream because I fear that situation. Where like you get there and they see that you're the only person in that room, and then when you now I'm like, I can't leave. They're gonna see me. It's really sad.
Yeah, whatever it is, we're gonna adapt because without art and without music, it's like we will not survive. You know, like our humans just need culture. We need to connect. We need to be inspired.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Like, you're just gonna. It's like I, I can't even predict what is gonna change and how we're all gonna change. It's like so often I'm walking around trying to think of how things are already different and how vastly different we are already in such a short period of time. Like, what is it? What is going to be the long term ramifications of this? How are my kids going to be affected differently? So, yeah, no, I'm like both of you. I think I'm like a strong believer in, like, when you put a limit on something, you always see beautiful creativity. Whenever, like, you put like a real, like I like rules, you know, man, because sometimes when you put that like block rule in, that's when you get to see some like really really creative shit happen. Um, Kind of like, I mean, in all kinds of senses. The first time I really learned that was with eating. Like when I became a vegetarian, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna mean I'm gonna eat the same like 4 things over and over and over again. But actually, the opposite. You just now that you have this block and set like in place, it just means that you gotta become creative. You're forced to become creative.
Yeah, it'll evolve. Some genius will come up with like an app or a platform that's like go-to concert, and you can actually have good sound quality, and you control the background and put some effects on your vocals or something. It's just a matter of time.
You can like mix it in real time to like they're doing, you're putting in your own verses and stuff like. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like it could be anything. That's the beauty of what's happening right now. It could be fucking anything, and it's crazy. I hadn't really thought about how like everybody's basically on the same playing field right now. It's nuts. Like, Rufus Wainwright is using the exact same thing that I'm using, like sitting in my garden with my phone on my knee, trying to like get the best like distance between the guitar to my voice without dropping it. You know, it's kind of awesome actually. It's kind of fucking awesome. this is a thing that is more than just us making music together. There's like there's a this huge crazy amount of like things that I think not having a band for a long time and then making music again, you like I just feel like super grateful one to be able to that I get to do this, right? That I can like that we can like have this, but also like I can like write a song about what I'm feeling. You know, that's awesome. Thank you to whatever gods have given me this. But it's also like we're like by weaving in so much of the fabric of our existence, of our days, of our months, our years. We now have these like these things that you can point to that say this represents Tim and Chris's life from this year to this year. This encapsulates what happened in between that time period, and now we have part two, and that's like so much happens like in between those that's first song and that last song on those records. So much happened in our lives. Our second kids were born. The parents were lost. Like people moved and things, the world went fucking crazy and like went to total shit, and we have it captured in a song, and then you have it like physically put into a vinyl record. So yeah, it's like this thing that exists that is like way bigger than just at the end of it, you have a song you can hit play on and a melody that you can sing. I've been getting into just only listening to songs from like songs that I fell in love with at some point in my life. That's like I'm usually I consume new music constantly, but for some reason right now I'm like only going back and saying what was I really into when I was like 13 or 14, or what was I really into in college, and then I'd go, oh yeah, I remember this. Let me go and play it. And then usually the process is I'll play it on the stereo, see if the kids vibe to it. Maybe then I'll get out my guitar and I'll try to learn how to play it as a cover, and just sort of like re-experience stuff like that. So like I did that with Bjork's Love, and just playing on the classical guitar and just like being 16, 17 when I was like completely madly in love with her, and I was like fantasizing moving to Iceland, just like re-experiencing that joy is pretty much all that I've been doing, and it's cool. I can I just had a really shitty meeting at work, out comes the guitar and I'll like play all this cool stuff. So that, and I've been going through Daft Punk's Discovery a lot because my kids just go ape shit when I put on One More Time, and that's like the joke. They're like, one more time, just one more time. But no, yeah. That and so that's okay. Yeah. I'll do three tracks. I've been playing a lot of Evangeline Hart. I'm like always playing his stuff. I know. So Saturday night, we'd be like, there's my three right there.
There you go.
I've really been digging Helado Negro. Like peaceful music right now is scratching the itch. So Helado Negro's last album, This Is How You Smile, is just always on the record player. Like acoustic music is doing it for me. We have this Joan Baez album that is the least cool thing there is, but it just like it's doing it for us. We just turn that on, we'll flip the record, flip it back, play it a bunch of times a day. And music that I can really like escape into, like Animal Collective. I love them because of all the textures and just like the whole world they create with their sounds. It can be an escape from reality.